Good morning to all. Myself Dr. K. Manogaran, Associate Professor, Department of Biomedical Engineering. So today class we are going to discuss case study on wireless USB mouse. A wireless USB mouse uses an USB dongle that receives the data transmitted by the wireless mouse. So whenever you are moving the data mouse, so that information will be transferred to USB dongle that will be decoded by the system. So this mouse operates at the frequency of 2.4 gigahertz to transfer the data. So due to the low battery consumption, connection to the longer distances and lower latency time, the wireless USB becomes so popular now. So the main reason for low power battery consumption we are choosing is by using this latest VLSI technologies. So CMOS transistors will be used, so automatically the power consumption will be less. Again, we prefer to use a long distance communication so that the mouse can be operated effectively. Again, lower latency time so that the response time will be quick. So whenever you are moving, immediate response we will be get it. To use a wireless USB mouse, simply plug this USB dongle into the computer, power on the mouse and the input device is ready to use. So just simple thing. So plug on this USB dongle and then turn on the switch in the mouse. So working of wireless mouse, so the three things are constantly occurring when the physical move of the mouse. So whenever you are doing a mouse movement, the following three activities will be happens. So first thing, the mouse records its current position using LED or laser light. So normally mouses use these two type of lights. It may be used as a LED light sources or laser light sources. So whenever you are moving a mouse, so it records the current position of the mouse. Second thing, the mouse sends that movement data to the computer using a transmitter. So through this dongle, the data transmit the data to this dongle, and then computer can get that information. So the computer moves the cursor using the received moves data from the transmitter. So whenever you are moving, that moving information will be recorded and that will be transmitted to the computer. So based on this, the cursor will be moved. So these are the three steps happens in whenever you are moving a mouse. Regarding the mouse movement, look at this diagram. See, look at this. So this is the mouse diagram. So we have this transmitter and reflector. So whenever the rays passed and reflected back to the mouse, so based on the time consumption, so the thing that surface will be identified and then movement will be calculated. The most of mouse nowadays uses the optical sensors to record the mouse moves. So look at this, these are the optical mouses. So early stages we use a ball type mechanical movement. Now it will be replaced by this optical sensors. These optical sensors takes a couple of thousand pictures every second, and then the sensor compares each picture to the previous one and records the mouse movement. So it takes the continuous pictures, so and then compares with the previous one with this current one. So based on that, the cursor movement will be predicted and that information will be centered. So on the other hand, and the older mechanical mouses, it uses the rubber ball to transmit the mouse movement. So based on this rubber ball movement, it may be left or right or forward or reverse. That information will be decoded using the mechanical arrangements. So this is the concept we used in the older mechanical mouses. Under the mouse, there are LED or a laser light. It will emits the light depending upon the type of mouse we are using. So normally we use the laser light. We can prefer this LED also. The emitter turns the LED when they connected to the mouse to a computer. Once we connect that mouse, so immediately that LED will be start blinking. Working. The light touches the surface and then reflects to the mouse. So where the CMOS, that is a complementary metal oxide semiconductor sensor, records the bounce back time. By doing this, the mouse records the every surface details. So simple thing, we use this CMOS transistors. So here, it will be sense that information, sense the light, and then it correlate the bounce back time. So reflecting time. By doing this, it can identify the surface. Once the sensor records the bounce back time, for a second time, the digital signal processor compares the two surface details and correlates the new position mouse movement. So So normally we are not sending an X or Y or position of the mouse. So only thing we call it the difference in the previous position to current position. So whether it will be increments left side or right side or up direction or down direction. So from the previous position to the current position. So these information will be recorded by using this digital signal processor, and that information will be sent to the system. Once the mouse figures its position, it sends the data about its position to the computer. This will be moves the mouse cursors. The mouse constantly sends the data to its position. The rate at which the mouse sends the data to the operating system and its the position and button clicks called as a polling rate. The speed at which the data, so whenever we are moving or clicking it, so that information will be sent to the system. The time taken for this, so it depends on the response time. Transmitting the data, look at this diagram. So mouse sending the data to the system. Once the mouse records the current position, a transmitter encodes the mouse position. So encoding means, so normally whenever you are sending the data, so we encode the data, and receive side it will be decodes and identify the original information. So it will be sent to the frequency range between 2.4 GHz to 2.485 GHz. So different mouse will use the different frequencies to operating. So that's why whenever using a one mouse to some other dongle, it won't work, because each have a different frequency of operating. Receiving the data, the receiver is the set of catches the frequency signal in the certain range, so that whenever the transmitter sends the signal, so this receiver receives that information and then decodes and gives that information to the system. So receiver sends the information to driver installed in the system. The mouse driver turns the decoded signal into encoding, because we have already identified that which movement and which direction or which clicks. So decodes the radio signal to determine the mouse position. Thank you all.